That was the big one for me. When Larry Fink, right, who's the head of the largest asset manager on the planet, BlackRock, who 6 years ago said this was an index of money laundering. Yeah. Bitcoin was an index of money laundering. For him to then come on CNBC and say, no, it's a store of value that you should own to protect yourself against the devaluation of the currency.
At its current price of $42,167.47, Bitcoin has climbed 2.6 in the last 7 days. Bitcoin is showing signs of rising momentum again, according to this. Despite initial suspicion from journalists and pundits who said the Bitcoin exchange traded fund was a bust due to the steep price drop that occurred after its introduction, investor Mark Yusko maintains a different perspective. Yusko expressed his firm belief that the exchange-traded fund ETF was, in fact, a huge success during an interview with Thinking Crypto. He claims that these accomplishments will be validated when the price of Bitcoin catches up to them, which is bound to happen soon. Yusko continued by sharing his outlook on Bitcoin's near-term price trend, forecasting that it will hit a new all-time high before the year runs out. Furthermore, he foresees a future where Bitcoin is the primary store of value in the fiat currency world and the de facto norm for all financial transactions. Include an ad or a one-pager for their Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, a bit on their landing page, which doubles as the company's primary landing page. That is of the utmost importance. The problem is, though, that traditional finance, which relies on dependable third parties, will eventually give way to decentralized finance, if not entirely disappear altogether in the financial system. In situations where trustworthy third parties are not available, this is going to take some time. However, this is a great starting point for people to enhance what has been the most successful asset over the last decade. It has been around for 15 years, and 12 times in that time, it has been the asset with the best performance. Not only do most individuals not listen to podcasts, but they also lack any kind of exposure whatsoever. By the way, have you noticed that I've been bringing up this subject since 2017? I will start at zero. Avoid using zero if at all possible. And I'm not arguing that 190 for 80 is right. Nonetheless, zero is unacceptable. Consequently, there's been a $1 trillion rise to national debt in the last 3 months. And the only way for us to put it in context would be to sit here for 31,710 years and spend $1 a second. So set that in context again, please. Here's $1 trillion. So additionally, this republic's first $1 trillion in debt was accumulated over 199 years. The last trillion was attained in little over 3 months. What does this mean for the value of our fiat currency then? Our lives, our labor, and the service we provide are all monetary in nature. But where does this money go? I do not feel obligated to advise someone who has lately gone out to lunch, bought coffee, or tried to buy a property about this. A decrease in purchasing power has occurred. The creation of this, which I call the Fiat disaster, is eroding its value. Since this asset serves as a deflationary store of value rather than an inflationary fiat currency, it stands to reason that putting some of your wealth into it would be a sensible and reasonable move. A 6-figure milestone was, in my opinion, crossed. I always pull off these 10 surprises, and we broke into the 6-figure range too. We have definitely surpassed the previous record. You do realize that it may happen in a few days. Bitcoin exchange traded funds are taking more coins from circulation than are being minted daily, and people will ultimately realize this. Plus, after the halving, it will be double, if not 3 times that. Thus, the only thing at play here is the law of supply and demand. We were there for both the supply and demand fundamentals and the demand shock. But when demand rises and supply stays the same, according to elementary economic theory, PON is bigger than P2. So is that accurate in the event that supply decreases? P2 is an improvement over. There has been an unexpected uptick in demand recently. In April, the price of Bitcoin is expected to fall from 900 to 450 per day due to a supply shock. When you add those two elements together, the total grows exponentially. Aspects such as leverage, stupidity, including dimwits playing dumb games and obtaining dumb prize, and fear of missing out have also been thoroughly discussed. Pulling back once more, as people will do, is not a smart decision. An asset with an 80 volatility level should never be leveraged up. Regarding your question, the answer is yes. Just like the yuan, central banks will embrace Bitcoin in due time. First of all, it's true that all central banks have gold on hand. Gold is the base of all monetary systems. Additionally, they store value for themselves using each other's currencies. Moreover, they go a step farther by issuing money. Accordingly, gold is the base material. Bitcoin is digital gold, and the bright people will eventually decide, you know what, I'm going to put some in there because of this. However, central banking is different. The goal of central banking is to facilitate the printing of new money using existing fiat currencies. Furthermore, it is used to fund conflicts. This is also why the world's reserve currency was held by the world's most powerful central bank, the superpower. If I understand you well, the Netherlands held the title of most powerful nation in the world in the 1600s. I can't believe what I'm hearing. Ohio is a better approximation of its size. Another way of putting it is that they may create currency and set up mercenary forces. That another family that sent a child to France was the Rothschilds. France became a superpower, much to everyone's astonishment. The UK received one of their shipments. A superpower has emerged out of nowhere, the UK. They sent a representative to the newly formed American colony so that we could set up our central bank. You should be aware that it is shocking. So you've decided to follow the money trail which leads to central banking. A pair of occurrences occur. First, you can accumulate vast wealth and power for a select few people at the very top. You know, I'd like to mention the all-seeing eye. But in reality, the value of the money drops dramatically for all other parties involved. I agree. What is the lowest price that you can recall paying for a gallon of gas is another question I ask they often. Before it became famous everywhere, I remember paying 33 cents at Totem Lake near Kirkland, Washington. It is already in your head that the price is $3.33. The price of 1 gallon of gas has not changed. It serves a comparable purpose in the car. It is undeniably of lower quality because it contains ethanol. Even though petrol prices went up, the economy stayed the same. Back in the day, a house would cost around $10,000. The asking price is now $400,000. There was zero improvement at home. The plumbing is now of better quality and they have grown in size. But it's still a house and that's its main function. Furthermore, it remained ineffective. Their heights were unaltered. It seems like my house doesn't grow at all. In fact, it wears out. The outcome is a worsening of the financial condition. Because of this, Bitcoin is so remarkable. Bitcoins are pegged at 1 to the power of 1. Constant equals 1 Bitcoin. But we don't value Bitcoin. In either the dollar, the yen, or the euro. We decide how much Bitcoin will cost. Also, the dollar value of Bitcoin is still going up. Looks a lot like gold. When calculating the price of gold, dollars are utilized, not gold itself. The purity and mass of gold remain unchanged at 1 ounce. A fine person's attire might be bought with a 1 ounce coin in 5,000 years. A single piece of armor and the heir of Cleopatra spent the day exploring Savile Row. You can get